Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara here once again with another amazing segment of Joe DeChara Presents How to Win at Business. And yes, let me go back to my first screen. You know, it never ceases to amaze me that no matter how many times I do this, there's always some kind of technical glitch or I stumble upon my words. So let me start over. Okay, here we go. Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara here once again with another amazing episode of Joe DeChara Presents How to Win at Business. And I bring this to you from my favorite sponsor in the universe, Bedrock University. So if you want to learn about business from real entrepreneurs that are in there, done that, doing it, still doing it, join Bedrock University to get courses on things like how to build a huge Facebook group by Haley Gray, team building by Mike Wolf, Gina St. Clair, John Limbach. We got a whole all-star lineup of Bedrock professors. So go to bedrockuniversity.com and classes are in session. There is no COVID-19 online. So that's my story. And tonight, what I am going to cover in my S-Corp series, my itty bitty S-Corp book that's going to be coming out very soon. Tomorrow I have a meeting with my publisher, Susie Pruden, and hopefully they're not going to kill me because I'm going to be adding step 2.1, which is not another page, but it's just going to be on the other page, Susie. So if you're watching, don't get mad at me, okay? I know I've given you a lot of grief over this, plus the fact that I finished it like right before COVID. So, you know, this thing has tenacity. This book has tenacity. And so tonight, so part two, I called people out to call me on my strategy to make every S-Corp, to make every sole proprietor in the United States an S-Corp, or at least 90% of them. I think I put up 22,500,000. Well, you know, I was thinking about that. And when you make blanket statements like that, it's dangerous because not everybody fits into a box, even if you're a sole proprietor. Because I was thinking about this. I said, well, who can't be a sole proprietor? Who can't be an S-Corp? And I came up with some answers. But let's talk about what the real problem is here, because the real problem isn't S-Corps and bookkeeping and lack of capital and all of that stuff that they say, is the real reason people go out of business. I'm going to get to that, but my purpose with all of these trainings is to try to help make business simple for you so it could be fun and profitable. It's a lot easier to make money when you understand what's going on, what you're supposed to do, what your people are supposed to do, and then you could have fun. Listen, I didn't go into business to be miserable. So here's the problem. I got it a little backwards. The problem is that life is difficult to begin with. And what makes entrepreneurs sort of like off the wall, insane, the perception is, that we do crazy things. And if you're an entrepreneur, because what do? We take a complicated situation and we make it even worse by starting a business. So here's the deal, folks. If you're in life and you're like overwhelmed and everything is confusing and you're dealing with life, you're probably not ready to start a business. And they don't teach you this in business school. But the truth is that business is stressful. It's complicated. It's confusing. There's a lot of moving parts. Just on my end, the tax preparation and compliance area is enough to make anybody go crazy. So it's tough and it's complicated. And it turns out that most business owners, if not all of them, go through this kind of confusion. According to Forbes, 8 out of 10 businesses fail. And according to my friend John Limbach, I think he's closer to the truth, is that if you give people enough time, they're all going to fail. And that's the truth. And so after 35 years in accounting, I'm coming up on 32 years as a CPA, so I guess 37 years in accounting. Years of research, being obsessed with the fact of first I was obsessed with the idea of business success. And so I pursued success the wrong way. And then I started getting obsessed with business failures because it irked me. It irked me that so many people go into business and fail. I mean, I've had my share of failures, but I mean, if you've seen some of the stuff I've seen with businesses and how that confusion and complications destroy families and people, then you would understand where I'm coming from. So, we came to this conclusion, my team and I, and we came up with solutions, simple solutions, ways to do bookkeeping simpler, ways to teach people about financial reports, ways to teach people things that they have no interest in. And I understand that they have no interest in because they're boring. It's not exciting to put together a financial statement unless you're like an accountant. And I'm an accountant and I don't even like doing it. I mean, I do it, but putting the numbers, that's just not fun. Analyzing it and doing something with the information is fun. But so, the idea, people, is we live in a complicated, convoluted world. It's just getting more complicated, harder to run a business. And that's by design, and I talk about that. And so tonight I'm gonna talk briefly. This is gonna be a short segment because it's only 2.1. I'm gonna talk about a few situations where people should not or could not be a corporation or an S-Corp. So there are industries and people, and I'm not exactly sure who, but like I have a couple of clients that are registered investment advisors, and they are not allowed to do business as a corporate entity. I mean, if they did, they would have to go through all kinds of, and I don't know all the regulations, but there must be other situations where people just cannot do business as a corporation because of federal, state, or local laws. And so again, I am not familiar with any of them because I have not come across them other than the situation with being a registered investor. And that has to do with SEC rules. It has nothing to do with IRS rules. So it may be that the governing body of whatever your profession is might not like you being a corporate entity. So that's one situation. You simply, as a matter of law, you cannot be an S-Corp. Foreigners, people that live in other countries, they cannot own an S-Corp. You can't own an S-Corp. So if you plan on moving to another state soon, so let's think about this. If you started a business, you're a sole proprietor, And all the numbers say that you should be a corporation. This is what you got to look at, because once you incorporate, you're registering with the state, and it's like you're flicking a switch, and you got all these state and local government agencies that want to be friends with you. They want to correspond with you. They want you to answer their notices. And once you start that, it takes a lot of time and effort to turn it off. It's not simple. So if you're going to move to another state, then maybe you should hold off because of the administrative time and cost of unincorporating a business. So that's another situation. Let me see if so there's also, so now there's a big issue going on in California, and it's actually always been a big issue. People don't realize it, but it was hard to, almost impossible to enforce this employer versus independent contractor issue. So to be quite honest with you, I've taken advantage of the laws, and whenever I had a client that had a sub, we would incorporate him so that he would be a legitimate business, and we didn't have an independent contractor. And they were independent, but maybe not technically. So let's just say it was like in a gray area. Well, the truth is that if you only work for one person, and you're not in business, and you're not out there soliciting, and you don't have a website, you're really not an independent contractor. You're really not you're not a business. You are really an employee. And what's going to happen down the road, and it might be 5 or 10 years from now, but it's already starting in California, where they are basically saying that, listen, you're an employee unless you could prove to us that you're not. And they do have a point. People have been skirting this issue for years. And I don't have an issue with like taking Uber drivers and making them employees, as long as they get paid, the right amount. Because let's face it, sometimes an Uber driver is not running a business. They're just working part-time. So technically, they are really employees. So if you don't pass the independent contractor, you really shouldn't be an S-Corp, because you're really in violation of a whole bunch of laws. Payroll tax laws, a lot. And right now, people in California are feeling the hit on that. So my advice is, if you are in that situation, just become an employee. It's going to, it's going to hit you, because the fact is that employees don't get too many tax write-offs. But if you don't have a choice because of the law, you don't have a choice. If you're in business temporarily, okay, I drove an ice cream truck the semester before I graduated college. It was a 3-month gig. That would have been stupid to incorporate. So if it's a part-time gig, if you're a college student working, as a tutor or something, you probably don't want to be a corporation. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. If you want to connect with me, if you have any issues that resonate with you that I talk about, if you want to be an S-Corp, if you want to talk about your options, you can go to timewithjoe.com, and I'll give you a 15-20-minute free chat. And I would also like to invite any entrepreneurs to Mastermind with Joe DiChiara. We meet every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So I hope that clarifies this for you. And if you are one of the people that I'm calling out, I'm still game. I want to solve the problem here, and if I'm missing something, I want somebody to show it to me, but nobody's been able to so far after 35 years. So like I told B, my new mastermind friend, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless you. Happy Sunday night. And I will be seeing you tomorrow. Thank you.